You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls, Season 3, Episode 9, A Visit from Little Sven. Original air date, November 21st, 1987. In this episode, Sophia tells Dorothy she wants a driver's license. She got in a fight with Gladys at the senior center. When she showed her expired license, it made her feel old. She wants to learn again. Dorothy finally agrees. Blanche comes in upset. Her current boyfriend canceled their date again. Rose comes in with a cake, asking if her cousin Sven arrived yet. Rose brings home a cake that she thought was in the shape of Florida, but it's not Florida. She actually purchased it at an erotic bake shop. Dorothy asks her how long Sven is staying with them, and she informs her that it's just a few days. He's getting married, and it's an arranged marriage. Rose then gives them the family tree. Dorothy finds arranged marriages to be unsettling. Blanche thinks it's something completely different. The ringing doorbell breaks it up. It's Sven. After introductions, Sven admits he's nervous about getting married. Blanche makes a comment and Sven leaves. Rose chases after him. Blanche then comments that Rose got the brains in her family. It's another day in the kitchen, and Sophia wants a driving lesson. Dorothy insists she learns the manual first. Rose and Sven come back from the store. Blanche joins them in the kitchen as well. Dorothy informs her that Floyd has canceled on her again. Blanche storms out, very upset. The phone rings, and Rose gets called into work. Dorothy suggests that Blanche take sightseeing since she's now free. At lunch, Sven offers to pay for lunch after the tour of shoe stores. Floyd walks in with a younger woman. Blanche decides to make Floyd jealous by kissing Sven. Later that day, Dorothy and Sophia return, and Dorothy is furious. Sophia did not do well at driving, and a mailbox killed, and a neighbor nearly got run over. Rose comes back as well. Sophia asks Rose to teach her to drive. She agrees to if Sophia will teach her how to cook Italian. Sophia storms off, thinking that it was a joke. Sven comes out and tells Rose he's not going to get married. He announces he is in love with Blanche. Everyone is shocked and horrified. Dorothy wants to know what happened. Blanche explains the kiss was pretend to make Floyd jealous. She assumes Sven knew that. He did not. Blanche has to fix it. Blanche tells a story back from high school. Then Dorothy tells a story about a guy she was dating that her parents hated. When she made arrangements to break up with him, she caught him necking with a waitress. Turns out it was Stan, and she married him instead of breaking up with him. Blanche goes to talk with Sven. He gives her all kinds of reasons that make Blanche feel worse, not better. He admits he knew why she kissed him. He had hoped she was tired of being with guys that don't appreciate her, and that she might give him a chance. He cheers her up. She tells him she will think about it. Another day, and Sophia comes in with a driver's license. Dorothy is furious. Sophia says it's just to have, not to use. But she needs $50 to pay for it because a guy made it in his garage. Rose joins them, very upset. She tells them that she called Big Sven and told him what was happening, and he's going to fix it. Blanche tells Rose that she's going to fix it as well. The doorbell rings, and it is a beautiful woman at the door. She introduces herself as Olga. This is the lady that Sven is supposed to marry. All Sven can say is wow. Sven then tries to let Blanche down easy. He then leaves with Olga. Rose is overjoyed. Blanche is upset. But then the phone rings and it's Floyd. She's got a date and she's happy again. Favorite quotes. Dorothy. Ma, you're 81 years old. Your eyesight is weaker and your reflexes are slower. Sophia. And who are you, Magic Johnson? Blanche. That reminds me, I need to give Charlie Milburn a call. Dorothy. If this cake reminds you of Charlie Milburn, we could both give him a call. Rose. There aren't, Blanche. There's Big Sven and Big Sven 2, like Jaws and Jaws 2. Blanche. I never thought I'd say this, but I think Rose got the brains in that family. Blanche. Maybe you're right. An active day out on the town with a handsome young man might take my mind completely off what's his name. Blanche. Dorothy, why is your lipstick all smeared? Dorothy. I just kissed our driveway. Rose. Sure, Sophia. How about this? I teach you how to drive, and you teach me how to be a great Italian cook? Sophia. Everybody's a comedian today. Rose. I'm in charge of Sven for one day, and he falls for the first little floozy that turns his head. Dorothy. Big deal. More people get to kiss you than the Pope's ring. Blanche. I was only blessed with one talent, turning men on. I've just never known how to turn them off. Rose. Did you have an angry Viking yelling Scandinavian swear words at you on the phone this morning? Sophia. If you could never make her happy, good luck with the lean, mean Swedish machine. This episode has some great, great things in it. The first thing we happen upon in this episode is Sophia wanting a driver's license again. But when we hear why, it's the fact that she was trying to prove she was a natural redhead. And the person who she was showing the license to, their license hadn't expired. It was still a valid license. She just kind of felt not just old, but I think at the same time too, just felt very frustrated because as you get older, life tends to take things away from you just because of your age. Dorothy's worried about her learning to drive again, but decides to teach her so that she can at least just have the license because that's really all Sophia wants to do. Then we have Rose who pops in with this cake. And now, I still don't understand how Rose had no idea that this was an erotic bake shop that she was getting the cake from. Because if you actually look at the top of that cake box, it actually says on it, get it while it's hot, erotic bake shop. I mean, she had to be holding it. She had to look at the box at some point. But maybe she just didn't comprehend. She just might not know the word erotic. And that's a distinct possibility. But then Sven is discussed, and it's an arranged marriage. And he's marrying someone named Olga. Now, Dorothy is very perturbed by the fact that it's an arranged marriage because she doesn't think that that's really, I think, appropriate in this day and age, even in the 80s. And Blanche completely misunderstands what exactly an arranged marriage is. She starts describing all of the strange things that she and George did. And I love it when Dorothy says to her, I think the exact quote is something along the lines of an arranged marriage, Blanche, not a deranged marriage, or something along those lines. And then, the subject is changed because the doorbell rings and it's Sven. And so we finally meet Sven, and we learn that he is very much like Rose, except nowhere near as smart. As the episode goes on, we do learn a lot more about Sven. And it's quite interesting as well. But we move to another day in the timeline of the episode, and Sophia wants a driving lessons from Dorothy. Dorothy finally relents and goes and take her, but when they return from this driving lesson, oh my gosh, Dorothy just looks like she's about to have a heart attack because it didn't go well at all. Things got hit, and I don't think we ever learned how much damage Dorothy's car actually takes because I assume the driving lesson was in Dorothy's car. There was a mailbox that was hit, a woman walking with a walker was almost hit, and whew, yikes, I believe Sophia even ran a red light, so kind of like she drove basically like it was in a video game where there was no consequences. Oof, and I don't know if it was just she was being silly, maybe she couldn't see well enough of the steering wheel, or what was going on, but yeah, poor Dorothy definitely looks like she needs some therapy after that driving lesson. And then we have the situation again where Floyd cancels on Blanche again. And this is not a nice thing to do. Canceling at the last minute is just rude. It's disrespectful. And it's hurtful, and so now Blanche is like pretty devastated because this is like the second or third time it's happened, just in a matter of days. Every date they've had, he's canceled. And so poor Rose gets called to go into work, and basically by default, Blanche has to cover and fill in for Rose and take Sven sightseeing. Well, it's not really sightseeing when you just go shoe shopping. But Sven still was nice enough and he went along with it and he didn't get angry about it. And he tried to cheer her up. But then when they're having lunch, Floyd walks in with a woman half Blanche's age and half his own age on his arm. And this upsets Blanche yet again, which is understandable. I don't think anybody would be happy in that situation if the person that they stood them up just came in to the place they're eating at and they've got someone on their arm half the age. I mean, that's a blow to anyone's ego. And so she does the thing with Sven where she kisses him to try and make Floyd jealous. But that really just sets off a whole craziness of Sven now falling in love with Blanche, not wanting to marry Olga, and Rose is completely freaked out that a really, really, really large Scandinavian man is going to come and be very upset at her in person. So, continues on, and we also have a situation where Sophia then asks Rose if Rose will teach her how to drive. Now, I believe that when Rose responds back saying she'll teach her to drive if Sophia will teach her to be, a great Italian cook, I don't really think that Rose is being sarcastic or flippant with that comment or that question. I think that she's actually being quite serious. Because Rose does love to cook, and she always likes to learn new cooking things and new recipes. It's referred to multiple episodes throughout the series, all of the different foods and everything else. And so I think that Rose is being serious. But everyone's upset Sophia so much today that she thinks that Rose is just making another joke at her expense. And it's not true, but that's how she takes it. Yeah, but we are still out with the situation of Sven does not want to go and marry Olga now. He wants to have a chance with Blanche. And Blanche tries to fix this a couple of times unsuccessfully. And finally Rose is forced to call Big Sven, or possibly Big Sven too. Still not a whole lot of sure on the Big Svens. And Big Sven winds up sending Olga to fetch Sven. And as Sophia describes her, the lean, mean Swedish machine. She's this bombshell, basically. And again, Sven is now telling Blanche, oh, no, it's okay, I'm gonna go with Olga now, blah, 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 you don't have to give me a chance after all, etc. Basically trying to let her down easy, but at the same time, it's no real different than when Floyd is dating someone half her age. Olga is probably less than half Blanche's age, but at the same time, too, it's still the equivalent of being thrown over for a younger woman. And that's definitely upsetting. That's damaging to your ego, to your self-confidence. And with Blanche, her whole persona is all about having, being the prettiest person in the room. It's all about her looks, being the most beautiful person, etc. And so any blow like that to her ego causes her lots and lots of upset because that's what she's used to being. And as a result of Sven taking off with Olga and continuing to marry her after all, everything goes back to normal at the house, but Blanche is still rather upset. But she gets saved by the fact that the phone rings and now Floyd is actually serious about taking her out on a date. Now, in the next episode, we don't actually get to find out if this date happened or it was canceled. We don't hear about Floyd again. But at least by the end of this episode, Blanche's ego is restored. Thanks for tuning in to the I Love This TV Show podcast. If you would like to make a donation in support of this podcast, you can through Cash App to Pasta26MC. That's pasta like the food, the number 2, the number 6, M as in monkey, C as in cat. If you would like to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, please send an email to podcast@pastasworld.com. As always, you can go to pastasworld.com for more information.